Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Petralis, and we are super excited for today's guest. Our last guest we had on 17 Jump Street, Royal Crown Wrestling, and we brought those guys on, and they were unbelievable. But these guys to me started the show off incredible. They had the crowd going the entire time, the attitude, they backed up their talk with the wrestling that they had, the skills that they had. A phenomenal group, phenomenal faction, I should say. But I got a couple of guys here from today. So without further ado, the gentleman that you see sitting there, some of the best wrestlers in this area. We have both of them here. The consistent one, AZ, is to the left, and to the right, we have Matt Michaelson, the head of the Hear Protection Service. How's it going,
Yes.
fellas?
Beyond Podcasts, you are finally getting the distinct honor of being able to lay your eyes on the consistent one himself, AZ, and Matt Michaelson, baby. How's it going today, you consistent bum?
It's going great. It's going great. How's the Hear Protection Service going?
It's doing amazing, man. How about yourself?
It's good. It's good. I might have to talk to you after the show because I need some protection up there for sure. Fellas, let's talk
Sure.
about Royal Crown Wrestling. I meant what I said when I started this show off was that you guys kicked the show off, and it is very important. I think the flow of a show is always the first match, and you guys came out, and not only did you deliver in the ring, you delivered on the mic, and then you actually came out for a second part of the show. The consistent one came out and once again put on a show. I'm a huge fan of you guys. Talk about Royal Crown. Talk about your opponent a little bit. Talk about how you guys took care of business.
Yeah, so Royal Crown Wrestling is a newer promotion that I've been working for. I haven't wrestled a match with them in about a good probably like seven months. This was probably my first one in about 7 months. But yeah, they're a newer promotion, great promotion. They pay very well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very good. But yeah, the first match, and I did let's give a little credit to the family, the union here. Salmon Strutter the third wrestled first. He faced what's his name? What's his name again?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he took care of business,
Right.
just like we said we were gonna do. And you're right. I had everyone going crazy for AZ. I mean, everywhere I go, everyone wants a piece of me. What can I say? And my opponent, well, I saw the inconsistent bomb out there. I think his name was what, Danny or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Guy came out of the crowd, right?
The guy came
Eating
out
a
of the
hot
crowd.
dog. Eating a hot dog too.
I don't know what he was on, to be honest. He was talking some mad stuff. He was with this girl, said, let's get in the ring. Well, I didn't say get in the ring. Freaking John Cena. John Cena Sr., always in my business. Has been in my business for over a year now. Really starting to get on my nerves, but it is what it is. But yeah, took care of business. But the night didn't end it how I wanted it to. Not at all.
I mean, and I understand that, and obviously I think a 2-on-1 match doesn't matter. I mean, you took it on like a champ and, you deliver for the audience, you deliver for Beyond Podcast, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate the effort. Matt, if I could jump to you for a minute, talk about managing this guy right here, because I mean, it must be 24/7 nonstop between, everyone wanting him at their show to all the women diving at him to this guy just being able to kind of do what he wants. Talk about managing a guy like this.
I mean, what more can I say than what you already said? I mean, it takes a lot in protecting the hair. You got to make sure that it's looking crisp at all times. And not only that, you have to make sure that no little bugs try to get their hands on it while they're in the ring. It takes, the right kind of man to handle a kind of job like that.
And I haven't pulled this out yet. We have a bunch of tricks up our sleeve, but if people want to keep trying to touch the hair and all that, we got even more protection for that coming.
That's right.
I mean, talk about your hair. I mean, some would say best in wrestling. Some would
Some,
argue
some.
maybe not, but
You want to restart? You want to restart that sentence?
I think all should
There
be
we go.
saying,
Hey, there we
all
go.
should
There
be
we go.
saying,
There we go.
all should be
I like
saying that because not only did you perform on the mic and perform in the ring, but that match was over and that hair was better than most of those bums that were sitting there that night for sure.
God knows what he's talking about.
You know what you're talking about,
I
man.
do.
I wasn't too sure how what we're gonna feel on this, but hey, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, come on. I got the best hair in the game. the hair that makes your wife want to have an affair. I got all these taglines that go with the hair, but the thing that makes the hair the best in the game is that no product is needed. This is all natural, baby.
I can tell. I can tell. Now, that night in the Union, that faction, there was a guy there, blue jumpsuit. His name was John Luca. He joined the faction for the night. I mean, talk about the effect that guy had. I mean, he was interacting with the crowd. He was getting involved in the match. I think at one point he was going after Senior. And you know, you guys had to kind of restrain him. I mean, is that guy gonna be back around? That guy was kind of scary a little bit.
I mean, we're hoping so. I mean, he's been. It's hard to reach him. He's a busy man. He's a busy man. I won't lie. He is a busy man. We do want to get him back into the family because he is part of the family, and we need to take care more of business in Royal Crown Wrestling.
Well, fellas, listen, you can tell that I'm a huge fan of you guys right out the jump. I mean, we're talking, we're vibing. I love your guys' attitude. And listen, you put me in my place when you need to put me in my place. That's the most important thing here because I am in front of greatness. I am in front of
You
greatness.
know what? Let me cut you off. This is a good podcast. This is a good host. This is a great host here. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I will hype you guys any day of the week. Um, let's talk a little bit about wrestling itself. I mean, you guys obviously you grew up watching this stuff, the influence, the family influence, but also the influence that you would see on TV. Growing up in an era that was incredible with many organizations going on televised. Talk about your guys' influences. Who were some of the wrestlers growing up that you guys loved and watched that really maybe kind of motivated you to jump into this industry?
You go for it. You got it.
I'd say, me personally, my biggest inspiration has to be, probably Randy Orton, CM Punk. Those are probably like my biggest influences in this business. Um, Even, go back into the days like back in the day, you talk about like Flair and, Shawn Michaels, those are probably my biggest influences.
I mean, God, when you say those guys, you think evolution, you look at all those guys. I mean, you look at their resumes, it's incredible. You name a few of those guys. Consistent one. What about you?
So there's a few guys. Ric Flair is definitely one of the guys I like to watch the most. There was a guy in back in the '80s, Gino Hernandez. I take a lot from him. I really like the way he works and just the way he presents himself. And as a kid, when you're watching that, and that's what I used to do. I like to go back and watch the old stuff when I was a kid because when I was a kid, the product was it wasn't too amazing. So it would always be nice to go back to the old stuff, and that's what I started on too. When I was a kid, around probably like 2007, I found this DVD in my cabinet. It was the greatest stars of the '90s, and it had The Rock, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, all these guys on it. Just like a big biography about them, some good matches on it too. And that's when I got really hooked into it and just started watching. I started watching all the Attitude Era stuff. I started going through all that, and then I was like, oh, let me turn on the product now. And then the rest is history. I became a wrestling addict pretty much, and you can say became pretty consistent in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell I've seen and I know. But listen, you might not become a fan of me in a minute. When I did see you did take the L. You did take the L. I mean, talk about the training regimen since then. I know you're a busy guy. There's a lot of people calling your name to come out there and do your thing, and there could be outside distractions. Are you finding yourself getting focused? Is managing getting tighter here? I mean, what are we doing to get you back to where you belong? And that's on the A list.
I mean, right now we are at training. Right now, we are training to be the most consistent tag team, the most consistent ones in all of professional wrestling. So the grind never stops. We were out there 7 days a week, 24/7, always thinking, always training on a consistent basis, baby.
I love it. What's the finisher? Talk to me about your finisher a little bit. When you know a match is over, you know you're about to put your opponent away. What's coming out? What are you doing?
So I like to hit a little move called the East River Crossing. I really enjoy hitting that. I think it's a move that puts people away. Another move I like to hit very so often is the spine buster as well.
Okay. What about you, manager man? You're really quiet over there.
I know,
But
I know. Then
I
I let
know
my
you.
main man talk. He's the main guy. You gotta let him get his words out. Gotta respect the man himself. I'd say me personally, my favorite move that I like to hit in the ring, is Future Shock DDT. That's like my favorite. That's when I know the match is gonna be over. Um, but no, I like to change it up. I don't like to keep myself to one move. I like to keep myself with many moves in my back pocket, keep them unpredictable.
I mean, that's great. I think pulling from inspiration of watching people, I'm sure moves come to mind and ideas and so on. It's great to see that you guys respect the game and respect the wrestling, from generations and decades.
Hold on. Listen. We don't respect anybody here. I mean, come on. These legends, bro, come on. Listen. Of course, they're greats. Don't get me wrong, and you can go back and take some stuff from them, but at the end of the day, they gotta earn my respect.
That's right.
You see, the consistent one himself needs to be respected. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about out there.
Well, consistent one. Let me ask you this: past or present? Who's a wrestler right now? You're taking on main event at WrestleMania. When your number's called, when you win the Rumble, you have the choice of opponent. Who's your guy at WrestleMania you'd want to take on? The pinnacle of the industry.
Oh,
Tough question.
this is tough. Give me Shawn Michaels.
Let me hear it. Why the Heartbreak Kid?
Yep. Shawn Michaels, man. 100%.
Okay. Matt, what about you? You had a chance to take on anybody. Who is it?
Hmm.
Look,
Honest,
I'm stumping the guys here.
We don't really think about this too much because we're not marks.
I know, right? Uh, I mean, what could I say? I mean, nothing's better than the final boss. So, oof.
I mean,
You
agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
hey, that's all you, brother. That's all you.
mean, solve me. You don't got me. You want to be in my corner?
Hey, man, he's the final boss for a reason, dog. I don't know if you want to.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to bark up that tree. At least Sean now. I mean, if I was a face, I'm.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
So I know you guys got a lot of stuff coming up, but there is a show coming up, I believe, on the 11th in Taunton, Massachusetts. You're taking
Yes,
on a
sir.
guy by the name of Chris Spratt. I know there are some speculations and there are some stipulations already in this match that are set involving both of you guys. Let's talk about it. Who is this bum? Why is he messing with you? And what can I do to help? That's what I want to know.
Oh, oh my God. All right. So Christopher Spratt and his tag team partner, the Damien, they are known as Higher Education. Um, what can I say about him? Yeah, he's an inconsistent bum. I really don't like the dude. He's cost us multiple chances at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships multiple times through their inconsistent ways. And so at our biggest show of the year, about 2 weeks ago now, March anniversary, we decided to take care of business, just like we did at Royal Crown, and shave his head. So now he's walking around all bald. And I guess he went to the upper management. Now he wants a match with me. Michaelson handcuffed to one side of the ring, his partner handcuffed to another side of the ring. I don't really care. I don't really know what the stipulations are, to be honest, but all that matters is on the 11th, he is gonna get got. And there's only one reason why, and that is because AZ from A to Z is consistently amazing.
I mean, so he's a bald bum, so he doesn't have hair like you do.
Oh my God, his hairline is terrible. Oh my God. Even when he had hair, I mean, it went all the way back. I mean, I honestly, we did him a favor. I'm gonna be honest. We kind of did him a favor.
I mean, Matt, you're going to be handcuffed, you're going to be strapped. I mean, do they think that's still going to stop the consistent one from doing what he does best?
Are you joking me? I mean, for real. I mean,
This is another point too. Michaelson actually has been handcuffed to the ring in one of my other matches. When I was a SPW Sons of Liberty champion, he was handcuffed to the side of the ring, and I still came out on top and retained my title. So it's not really going to affect much. The only thing it's really going to affect is Sprat because he can't rely on his little whatever Damien to freaking come in and
you also have to make sure that he's like coherent to be in this
exactly.
match.
This guy is a mess. He's clumsy. He holy shit. Yeah. I don't, yeah. Don't even. Yeah.
So this should be a pretty easy match then. Doesn't matter what the stipulation is.
Well. Let me give it to Sprat. I will say he's going through a little he's going through something right now. He's not always in the right state of mind, but I have to still take into account he is a former Showcase Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion. He is a former Pro Wrestling Showcase Pro Wrestling Sons of Liberty Champion, and he's also won the Gauntlet for the Gold, which is kind of like our Royal Rumble. So I have to give the man credit, give the man his due, but. See, the thing is, though, when you're in the ring with AZ, it don't really matter what you've done. Because once you step in between the ropes with me, you're going to consistently get got.
I mean, God, bravo, bravo. Huge fan right here. I mean, let me just ask you, because I saw it at Royal Crown.
Yep.
The women love you guys. The women love you guys. You come out. I saw you blow a kiss,
Oh,
consistent
man.
one, and I videotaped. I was there as a videographer. Women go crazy for you guys. Is this just everywhere you go? And how do you just like control them, especially after the show?
Sprat.
Yeah, this guy's in control. But you can't control him, man. I mean, once the hair is that so neat comes out, makes your girl want to cheat. I mean, once it comes out, I mean, there's nothing much you can really do. I mean, I could really. It helps that I'm also 6'2", beautiful skin, luscious hair. I mean, I don't blame them. I really don't. But sometimes they do get a little bit too touchy. You know, they want to be touching everywhere, which is fine for after the show. When I'm doing my business, it can get a little tricky sometimes.
Okay. And how do you manage the women? I mean, you must have to manage them in the sense of, hey, listen, take a number. There's plenty here. Um, How do you do that? I mean, again, you're managing one of the best guys in the business, but you got to also manage one of the best lives maybe outside the business as well.
I mean, yeah, no, it definitely can be a challenge, like he kind of said, you got to fight the women off, make sure that, keeps his hair in the
You
game.
know, and I don't mean to cut you off, but like as soon as he starts touching them now and fighting them off, then they want a piece of Michaelson. So then it gets all twisted up and it becomes this one big
It's a
thing. And
huge
usually the
problem.
hotel security have to get involved, and it's just yeah.
I got to hang with you guys then. I got to hang out with you guys. Holy
Ah,
moly.
see, you're what we'll call like repellent. Like if you're with us, I mean, actually, you can make us look a little better.
I
Actually,
would
if
say,
you're
yeah,
standing next to us, maybe.
we'll see. We'll talk about it after.
I just got a fresh lineup. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I mean, yeah. All right, all right, bro.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I get it, I get it. I mean, so obviously, you guys are in the business, you love the business, you're dominating the business. You guys are at a point of figuring out when you wanted to get to this, or were you sure that you wanted to get into this? What would be your advice to other young, inspiring people out there that want to come into the industry and take it over like you guys did, the work and grind that you put in? To get where you are right now and to keep ascending and keep doing as well as you're doing.
Yeah, no. The one thing I'll say is you gotta love it, man. That's the one thing I'll say. Like, you really have to enjoy it. All the days aren't great. There's days where your body hurts. I mean, no one told me it was fake, man. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, it can be rough, but you just gotta keep pushing through, man. Like you gotta consistently push through, consistently put in the work, and consistently just show up. Showing up is the biggest thing, 100%.
Yeah, and like to kind of bounce off of that too, there's gonna be days where you're gonna want to quit. Like my first week after taking bumps several times, I thought I probably didn't have what it takes to hang. It definitely is one of those things where you got to enjoy it to love it.
You didn't really think that. You know you didn't.
Yeah, you're right. No,
You
I
know you
didn't.
didn't think that.
But I like to.
Dude, come on. Like we don't have to be humble. Like,
All right,
fine, bro.
fine.
You know how good we are. Like
You're right. You're
it's
right.
fine.
My
Like,
bad. My,
chill,
my bad.
dude.
My fault. My fault. But yeah, no. I'll also say, it's you got to put an investment in it. You got to bank on yourself. You got to pay the look to make yourself look good. Not can't just walk out here with no casual gear. You got to have it so you look good. So, it's you got to put your heart into it. That's what matters more.
That's great. That's great. Um, and I think that's what's so important, honestly, in seeing you guys and watching you guys, especially open up that show. I think opening to anything and closing anything, the most important things, because it's what you remember, what you start with, and what you finish with is what's always kind of sticks out the most. And I've gone to a few shows of theirs, and I mean this, like you guys got that place going. I remember the first couple matches, the other shows that I were at, like you guys had people laughing, you guys had people going, and I think that's really important. I think other promotions that you work with, they obviously see that and see the work that you guys put into it, and so on. I know obviously you got a big match coming up. Is there anybody else here you want to call out, or anybody else here that you've had some issues with that you kind of want to put it out here on the table, or are we gonna kind of keep family business, family business?
I said earlier in the show, but this old man, bro, John Cena Senior, dude, he just and it's everywhere I go. He's always there. He's always showing up. He's always getting in my business, and I get it, bro. I get it. He wants to be me. I understand that. I would want to be me too. I really would. But at the end of the day, he's got to realize his place. He really does because I don't want to hit an old man. He's old. He's fragile. If I hit him, I mean, come on. I mean, he's gonna break a hip, break a leg, have a stroke. Like I'm not about that. I'm about putting the business to people, but I'm not trying to do that to a sad old man like that.
I get that. I mean, he was talking a lot. He was yapping at you, and God, you restrained yourself. You restrained
Bro.
yourself, and that's what's. Sometimes that's being consistent, right there. Being consistently making good decisions to the well-being of others, letting them know that you're saving them by not putting a beating on them. So you're consistent there as well. Um, I want to talk about fans. I mean, it seems like you could care less if you have a fan, which I love. You're in there, you're focused, you're laser focused. But I want to talk about an interaction that I saw at Royal Crown. The show was in between. It was a little bit of a kind of a break. You graced the crowd with your presence. You came out, you walked out. I think you just kind of went
Man,
to
we
see
gotta
the
take a piss at
venue.
some point.
I mean, you and you come back in and these kids they jump at your presence. They want your autograph, and they come over with a bum Sharpie that didn't really work, and you let them have it. I mean, you let them have it, and you threw their Sharpie, and you told them it was trash, and you walked
Yeah.
away. Do you do that a
I
lot to
fucking right.
fans? Is that something that you do? Do you just not care if someone wants to be in your presence?
You see, this is the type of thing that I hate, right? You come out, they're all booing you. They're all booing me. You saw that. They were all booing me.
They
None of
were.
them liked me. But then after the show's over, they want to come up and tell you how good you are. No, 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 no. Like Jalen Brown said, bro, stay on that side. You know what I'm saying? Stay on that side. Listen, I appreciate the fans for coming to watch us. Because who wouldn't want to watch us? We're the most consistent thing going today. But like you said, they came up with bum Sharpies. They want me to sign this, sign that, take a picture here, take a picture there. No, 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 no. And they're annoying. They come up, they're like, hey, hey, you want to take a picture with me? Can you sign this? And it's like, bro, just shut up, kid. Like, you're a mark. You're a little mark. Like,
I agree. I agree. I mean, for anything, you should be charging for your autograph. I mean, those kids want it for free, and they're gonna make money off of that. I
well,
mean,
I
you
didn't
sh
give them an autograph. I just wrote they're an inconsistent bum, so they didn't get their actual easy autograph.
I mean, there you go. I mean, there you go. I mean, I know I
You got, you
mentioned
got to
it.
pay a price for that. I mean,
I mean, listen, and I actually videotape the interaction so we can most certainly give it to you so people can see that when you're inconsistent in front of the consistent one, you're a bum. And he lets you know it. So,
Inconsistent idiot, inconsistent imbecile, and like you just said, inconsistent bum.
that's what he was. Um, so I know I mentioned your show in Taunton on the 11th. Where else can people find you? I mean, when I say that these guys put on a show, they're great, entertaining. You will not be disappointed when you hear their music cue and you hear their music hit. Where can the fans, where else can we find you guys? Where are you on social media? Let everybody know.
Yeah, so me on social media, pretty much at the consistent one AZ for pretty much everything: Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Um, his is
uh,
pretty much the same.
I say yeah, mine's the same thing. I'm the Matt Michaelson. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
I almost forget about Facebook for the old heads, bro.
I know, right? Yeah, my bad. Oh, yeah. So and then I'm starting to make a TikTok now too. So we're starting to get out there.
And you can find us. We wrestle all around New England pretty much. Our mainstay, our main base is Showcase Pro Wrestling, based out of Rhode Island. Um, we also wrestle for Royal Crown, obviously. Powerhouse Wrestling sometimes. We also wrestle for some main promotions too.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I mean it, guys. You guys see these guys, those that are watching on YouTube, but those that are listening elsewhere. These guys were great. They to me, they came out right away and set the tone of the show. I thought it was a great show all around. These guys were a part of it. Two out of the first three matches, so they definitely brought the energy and made the crowd kind of really into it. So I appreciate being in your presence tonight, gentlemen. We got the consistent one, AZ. And man, I always almost mess it up. Matt Michaelson. I almost said Michael Matson. I
Listen here,
know. I'm a
Bob.
bum.
You got to
I'm a
say it
bum.
right.
I do. I do.
It's the head of the hair protection service.
You're doing so well, man. You're doing good.
I know. I thought we were having a good conversation. You know.
Yeah, I got nervous at the end there. I'm ending it. It was a great show, and God. Well, listen, it was a pleasure, gentlemen, and I do mean that. And I can't wait to see where you are locally around again to be able to see you guys and who knows, maybe work with you guys. But thank you for coming on here today. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You're gonna
Well,
pay us after that, right?
Yep. Well, I got you guys. I'll Venmo you guys right after this. We hit
All right,
stop
cool.
recording
what?
here. Cool. Cool. All right, guys. Well, this is Beyond Podcast. We got a busy week this week. Our Medford baseball documentary continues. We have lacrosse at Tufts University. So we are super, super excited and loaded up. So thank you guys for coming on here. I'm your host, Anthony Petrellis. Till next time.